Welcome to Jam Virtual Church, and it's really good to be back with you again this week, and we hope you have a fantastic time with us as we journey through a really famous story of when Jesus calms the storm in the Bible. A fantastic reminder that even when the world is a bit crazy around us, that God is in control. And we hope today, as we go through some science and some songs and some stories, that you will learn just how precious you are to God, and that He is in complete control of all the things around you, and that even the wind and the waves will obey Jesus at His command. Have a great morning with us, and we will see you again very, very soon.
This story is called The Captain of the Storm. The sun was going down. The air was warm and still. "Let's go across the lake," Jesus said to his friends. Jesus had been helping people all day, and now he was tired, so they left the crowds at the shore and set out in a small fishing boat. Jesus climbed into the boat to take a nap. As soon as his head touched the pillow, he fell fast asleep. It was a beautiful evening. A gentle breeze rustled the sails. The friends were chatting happily as they headed out into the middle of the lake. Everything was perfect, just right for a nice, quiet sail. They were only about halfway across when, out of nowhere, whirling winds swept across the lake, fierce and strong like a hurricane. A blinding flash of lightning lit up the sky. Thunder roared right overhead. The storm blew the water into the towering waves that hurled the little boat up, up, up. Then it sent it hurtling, crashing back down, down, down. The fishing boat was blown and buffeted and tossed and turned, back and forth and up and down and left and right and round. And in the middle of the storm, Jesus was sleeping. Now, Jesus' friends had been fishermen all their lives, but in all their fishing on this lake, they have never once seen a storm big like this one. No matter how hard they struggled with their ropes and sails, they couldn't control their boat. This storm was just too big. But the storm wasn't too big for Jesus. "Help!" they screamed. "Wake up! Quick, Jesus!" Jesus opened his eyes. "Rescue us! Save us!" they shrieked. "Don't you care?" Of course Jesus cared, and this was the very reason he had come to rescue them and save them. Jesus stood up and spoke to the storm. "Hush," he said. "That's all." And the strangest thing happened. The wind and the waves recognized Jesus' voice. They had heard it before. It was the same voice that made them in the very beginning. They listened to Jesus and they did what he said. Immediately the wind stopped. The water calmed down. It glittered innocently in the moonlight and lapped quietly against the side of the boat as if nothing had happened. The little boat bobbed gently up and down. There was a deep stillness and a great quiet all around. Then Jesus turned to his wind-torn friends. "Why were you scared?" he asked. "Did you forget who I am? Did you believe your fears instead of me?" Jesus' friends were quiet as the wind and the waves, and into their hearts came a different kind of storm. "What kind of man is this?" they asked themselves anxiously. "Even the winds and the waves obey him," they said, because they still didn't understand. They didn't realize yet that Jesus was the Son of God. Jesus' friends had been so afraid. They had only seen the big waves. They had forgotten that if Jesus was with them, that they had nothing to be afraid of, no matter how small their boat or how big the storm.
1, 2, 3, 4. I can see the promised land, though there's pain within the plan. There is victory in the end. Your love is my battle cry. When my fears like Jericho build their walls around my soul, when my heart is overthrown, your love is my battle cry, the anthem for all my life. Every giant will fall, the mountains will move, every chain of the past broken into all the fear of the light, singing the truth, and nothing is impossible with you. There is hope within the fight, in the wars that rage inside. Though the shadows steal the light, your love is my battle cry, the anthem for all my life. Every giant will fall, the mountains will move, every chain of the past be broken into all the fear of the light.
For this experiment, you'll need a bottle of water, half full. You need some ordinary vegetable oil and some blue food colouring. First of all, we're going to add some of the blue food colouring to the water, just to make it look like the water you'll see perhaps at the beach or at a lake when the sky's blue, because that's why water looks blue, because it's reflecting the blue colour of the sky. Water's really very clear, no colour at all. And then we're going to take our vegetable oil, and you might need the help of somebody to do this with a very steady hand. And we're going to pour the vegetable oil onto the water and have a look at what happens. Just do it very steadily. What can you see happening? We'll put the lid back on the oil because we don't want to spill it, and we'll put the top back on the water bottle. You might want to secure it with a little bit of sticky tape to make sure it doesn't come off. Can you see what's happened? The golden oil hasn't mixed with the water, it's just sitting on top of it in two layers, and that's because oil is lighter than water, because the molecules that make up the oil are much bigger and they can't push together as close together as the smaller molecules of water can. Therefore it turns out to be lighter. If you turn this on its side, you can see that the oil stays on top of the water. And if we tip it to one side, then you can start to make waves form. If you just tip it a little bit, you get little waves, like the little waves that come on the beach. If you tip it larger, more, you can make big waves form, like crash onto the beach in a storm. When we tip the bottle from side to side, it puts energy into the water and waves form between the two. Just like wind blowing over the sea puts energy into the water and forms waves. You can see waves in lots of different places. You can see them on the sea. You can see them sometimes in clouds in the air when the clouds break up into stripes. Sometimes you can feel them in the air too. If you've ever ridden on an aeroplane and it's got a bit bumpy during the flight, that's because the plane is going through waves in the atmosphere and it's pushing and pulling the plane around. Have you ever been in a boat when you've been tossed around by waves? Or maybe in life you felt a bit like that, going up and down, being pushed around, not quite sure when it's going to end. Maybe you've had some trouble in arguing with your friends at school or in the neighbourhood. Well, we ask Jesus to bring you peace and make the waves still. Or maybe you've had some trouble in your family and faced some difficult times. Well, we say, Jesus, please come and bring us peace and make the waves still. Or maybe you know people who are finding life very hard at the moment. We lift them to Jesus and we say, Jesus, come and bring them peace. Jesus, as you stilled the storm on the lake when you were asleep in the boat, still the storms of our life and bring us peace. Well, I hope you enjoyed that experiment and your wave makers are as good as the one we made here in our lab. And that maybe in the days ahead they'll help you find some peace when waves and life seem a bit rough for you. It's been wonderful to join you on your New Zealand Messy Church on this great adventure we're having today with Messy Church around the world. And I hope one day soon you'll tune in again to see some more experiments. But until then, keep on experimenting, exploring the wonder of creation and the wonder of the Creator. God bless and hope to see you soon.
Dear God, when we get angry and sometimes feel like the storm the disciples had, please help us to be like Jesus and calm the storm inside us. We are sorry that sometimes we get angry, but we thank you that whenever we do something wrong, we can say sorry and you can forgive us. Please help us to talk to you whenever we are worried about anything and keep us safe in these times. Amen.
Wow, what a morning we've had. Some fantastic science from Dr. Dave there with our wave makers, and hopefully you'll be able to make those during the course of today or later on over the weekend, and they'll help you to remind you that Jesus is in control even when the waves seem to be too much. A blessing to finish. May each one of us know just how precious we are to Jesus. May each one of us be able to trust him even when we feel scared or worried about the future. And may each one of us know that no matter what the world throws at us, Jesus is bigger and stronger and greater than all those things put together. Amen.
1, 2, 3, 4. Jesus is greater than the greatest heroes. Jesus is closer than the closest friends. He came from heaven and he died to save us, to show us love that never ends. Son of God and the Lord of glory. He's the light, following his way. He's the truth.